This is the story of Minji Park, a 31-year-old woman from Seoul, South Korea, who discovered that the difference between an ordinary life and an extraordinary one isn't talent, luck, or circumstances. It's simply the willingness to be uncomfortable. It's 5:47 in the morning. The temperature is barely above freezing. Minji's hands are numb as she climbs this trail outside Seoul. Most of the city is still asleep, and honestly, part of her wishes she was too. But that's exactly why she's here. 12 months ago, Minji was a completely different person. Same job, same apartment, same routine, but something inside her had died. She was 30 years old, watching everyone around her move forward while she stood still. Not because she wasn't trying, but because she was trying in all the wrong ways. Let me take you back to where her story really begins. January 2025, Minji was scrolling through Instagram at 11 p.m. Again, watching influencers traveling the world, friends getting promoted, former classmates launching businesses. And there she was. Same apartment, same routine, same life she'd been living for the past 5 years. She kept telling herself she was working hard. And she was. 10-hour days at an advertising agency, coming home exhausted, planning to work on her side projects tomorrow. Always tomorrow. But here's what Minji didn't understand yet. She wasn't working hard. She was working busy. There's a difference. Then one night, Minji had a realization that changed everything. She was watching a documentary about luxury cars, and the narrator said something simple but profound. A Ferrari is valuable because most people don't have one. It sounds obvious, right? But think about what that really means. Minji realized that value exists because of scarcity. She wrote in her journal that night, "If everyone in Seoul worked the same hours, we'd all be equally average." The people who stand out aren't working harder. They're working differently. They're doing what most people refuse to do. They're making themselves rare. For years, Minji lived in what she now calls reaction mode. Wake up at 8 a.m., check what everyone else posted overnight, scroll through success stories, compare herself, feel inadequate, promise to do better, then go to work and react to emails, react to meetings, react to deadlines, come home exhausted and react to Netflix recommendations. She was living her entire life in response to other people's agendas, other people's content, other people's priorities. She wasn't creating anything. She was consuming everything, and consumption never built anyone's dreams. February 14th, 2025, Minji made a decision that felt completely insane. She was going to wake up at 5 a.m. every single day. Not because she read it in a self-help book, not because some guru told her to, but because she did the math. If she woke up at 5 a.m. instead of 8 a.m., she'd have 3 extra hours. Before emails, before meetings, before the world started demanding her attention. 3 hours where her energy was peak, her focus was sharp, her mind was clear. 3 hours in action mode, not reaction mode. The first week was brutal. Her body screamed at her. Her feelings begged her to hit snooze. But Minji had learned something crucial. Feelings are terrible decision makers. Here's what Minji discovered about discipline. Motivation is like a visitor. It comes and goes. You can't rely on it. But discipline is like a spine. It holds you up whether you feel like standing or not. She stopped asking herself, "Do I feel like doing this?" She started telling herself, "This is what I do now. Don't feel like going to the gym at 5:30 a.m.? Irrelevant. This is what I do now. Don't feel like working on my portfolio? Irrelevant. This is what I do now. Don't feel motivated to learn that new skill? Irrelevant. This is what I do now." And something magical happened. After about 3 weeks, her feelings started to follow her actions. She started wanting to wake up early, started craving the gym, started enjoying the work. Because feelings don't lead, they follow. But Minji's biggest breakthrough wasn't about time management. It was about energy management. Everyone talks about managing your 24 hours. But Minji realized not all hours are created equal. She had peak energy from 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. Her brain was sharp. Her creativity was flowing. Her willpower was strongest. So that's when she did her most important work. Building her design portfolio, learning new software, working on freelance projects, creating content. By the time she got to her office job at 9:30 a.m., she'd already won the day. The job was just maintenance mode. Her real life happened before sunrise. Evenings, that's when she'd relax, watch K-dramas, scroll Instagram, meet friends. Because she'd already put in the work when her energy was optimal. She wasn't fighting her biology anymore. She was leveraging it. Minji started calling it the empty room advantage. At 5:30 a.m., the gym was empty. No waiting for equipment. Complete focus. At 6 a.m., the coffee shop was quiet. Perfect for deep work. At 7 a.m., her inbox was still silent. No distractions. By the time everyone else started their day at 9 a.m., Minji had already worked out, completed 2 hours of focused work, learned something new, and created something valuable. She wasn't competing with the crowd anymore. She was running a completely different race. You know what Minji's biggest regret was? Not the opportunities she missed, not the mistakes she made. It was all the time she spent planning instead of doing. Years of journal entries. Someday I'll start my design business. When I'm ready, I'll launch my website. Next month, I'll finally take that course. Someday, when I'm ready. Next month. All lies we tell ourselves to avoid the discomfort of starting. In March 2025, Minji made a new rule. Any idea she had, she'd execute within 48 hours. Not perfect execution, just some execution. Idea for a website, buy the domain in 48 hours. Idea for a service, create a basic landing page in 48 hours. Idea for content, post the first piece in 48 hours. Messy, imperfect, but real. And you know what she discovered? Execution reveals truth. All those fears in her head, most of them were imaginary. All those what-ifs, they dissolved the moment she took action. All that perfectionism, it was just fear wearing a disguise. By June, Minji had discovered what she calls the comfort paradox. The path of comfort leads to discomfort. The path of discomfort leads to comfort. Her old life was comfortable, sleeping until 8 a.m., avoiding difficult conversations, staying in her safe job, never putting herself out there. But that comfort led to stagnation, regret, anxiety about the future, and a deep sense of being stuck. Her new life was uncomfortable, waking at 5 a.m. in winter, pitching to clients and facing rejection, learning new skills that frustrated her, putting her work online for criticism. But that discomfort led to growth, confidence, exciting opportunities, and a deep sense of being alive. She realized you're going to experience discomfort either way. The question is, do you want the discomfort of discipline or the discomfort of regret? It's January 2026 now. Minji is 31 years old. Exactly 1 year since she made that first decision to wake up at 5 a.m. She's not a millionaire. She hasn't made it. But she's unrecognizable from who she was 12 months ago. She's running a successful freelance design business on the side. She's in the best shape of her life. She's created a portfolio that gets her noticed. She's developed skills she didn't have a year ago. But more than that, she respects herself now because she knows that every single day she's doing things that most people won't do. She's making herself rare. Minji comes to this spot every few months now, not to prove anything, not to record content, but to remind herself of a simple truth. The sun doesn't wait for permission to rise. It doesn't check if conditions are perfect. It doesn't worry about what other stars are doing. It just shows up every single day, regardless of how it feels. And so does she. If you're watching this, wondering if you can change your life, you can, but not by thinking about it, not by planning it, not by waiting for the perfect moment. You change your life by making one uncomfortable decision, then another, until uncomfortable becomes normal, until discipline becomes identity, until the person you wanted to be is just who you are. Remember, the only difference between who you are and who you want to be is what you do in the next 48 hours. Value exists because of scarcity. Make yourself rare by doing what others won't. Your feelings will follow your actions, not the other way around. Stop living in reaction mode and start living in action mode. Execute your ideas within 48 hours, not someday. Choose the discomfort of discipline over the discomfort of regret. And most importantly, show up every single day, regardless of how you feel. 1 year of 5 a.m. mornings gave Minji 365 early starts, 1,095 extra focused hours, 47 client projects completed, 156 workout sessions, and one completely transformed life. It all started with one uncomfortable decision. If this story inspired you, make sure to subscribe to Easy English. Tales for more stories that will change the way you think about success, discipline, and transformation. Hit that subscribe button and join our community of people who choose action over excuses